Hey guys, it's Nick. Thanks for tuning into Long Island Wargaming, and we have a fun little video for you today. And this is going to be a 2v2, or really a 2v1, but I made two separate lists with Skaven and Ogres. This way it's fair. And I'm going to be playing against Dave's kids, Kim and Kev. They've played a few games at this point, and it is an unlikely alliance between some High Elves and some Undead. But they're going to try out two 1,000 point lists, so this is a 2K game, and we'll see how it goes. Now, there will be some unconventional use of units and unit size and whatnot. Like I said, it's a fun game, so if you have any constructive criticism, it would be appreciated, but don't take the game too serious. The serious stuff is coming soon with Crossroads approaching. I need to get a list in by Friday. I've got no practice games in, so I'm going to try doing that this week and maybe get a game in and submit a list with the Skaven, and that's how it's going to have to be, I guess, because it's all painted up and I don't have time, and I have other interests right now. But back to this game, it is an educational game, so I did take some liberties in trying to make this a different style of battle report, and you'll see I've got some video clips opposed to just all photos for slideshow, so let me know what you guys think. It will probably take some more time to edit, but, if it's worth it and you guys like it, maybe I'll put some extra time in. So let's get on into it. So Kim is playing High Elves, and she brought Laura Fire, and she's got a Fireball and Burning Head, which would be nice for those ranks of Skaven. And then for the Undead, I am very naive to the Vampire count, so I apologize if I get any of their rules or units incorrect, but I just never see them or play them. We've got the Signature Spell, Raise Dead, and Winds of Death. The Ogre Kingdoms have Spine Marrow and Bull Gorger, and the Skaven have Warp Lightning and Death Frenzy. So for the Alliance rules and Winds of Magic rules for multiplayer games, I threw out the window. I don't even know them too well, so we did a Winds of Magic, and we split the dice however we wanted between the armies, and then we just, for alliances, treated every model as if it was on the same army, so don't go too crazy about the Alliance rules. These lists are also very basic, with no magic items and anything crazy. So we have 30 Storm Vermin on the left with a Warp Fire Thrower, 30 Clan Rats with a Poison Mortar. We have 9 Bulls, we have Slaves, we have Iron Guts, and then behind them the Rat Ogre, so there'll be a second wave of attacks there. We've got some Lead Belchers, and then we have a Saber Tusk on the outside. Butchers in the Iron Guts, and then the Engineer is in the Clan Rats. So for the opponent side, left to right, a Sword Master unit, about 20 big. There's a Noble and a Caster in there, so they're pretty far out here to the left flank of mine, so we'll see how that works out for Kim. And she also has White Lions. In front, Kevin has Dogs and a Vargulf behind them. Lorien Seaguard, a Bolt Thrower, the building. Then we have what looks like Vargeist. They're actually Crypt Ghouls. Behind that are regular ghouls and a unit of Black Knights behind there. A large unit of zombies, the Grave Guard, skeletons, and then Silver Helms out on the right. So you can see that the undead have a MSU kind of going on. Very small units though, so we'll see how that goes. So we got a Vanguard for these dogs here. It's a unit of 8. Probably could have chopped it up into 2 smaller units if we can get 2 more in there, or maybe make it 2 ranks of 5, but this is what Kevin decided to do, and they're moved up pretty far. So the Undead and the High Elves go first. We'll just call them Forces of Confusion, since the Alliance is funky, and we'll keep our side here, the Forces of Destruction. So they go up forward. We got the Swordmasters and the 2 heroes moving up there full. Everything else kind of shuffles up, and the Lorien Seaguard don't move too far forward because they also want to take a shot this round with their bows. And to the far right, the Silver Helms move up as quickly as they can because they're going to try to come around the back. Here's just a video clip of the movement phase. You can see how this looks up on YouTube. But back to this here picture. This is Magic Phase. It looks like he has Raised Dead and a nice little unit of zombies. Looks like about 11 pop up here in front of the Lead Belchers, which was by far the best move that Kev could have done, because essentially what happens now is he blocks the Lead Belchers from moving up quickly if they decide to do so. But I also pointed out to him, if I move up next turn, I'm just going to shoot the crap out of those freaking Silver Helms and just rock them off the table, which was what I was going to do. So now that we have these guys here, it'll kind of create an issue with that. I mean, I could probably still shoot at them, might be -1, but it's not going to be as eventful now that I've got these units of zombies in front of me. And a fireball kills 2 storm vermin, no big deal, but it's at the cost of a missed cast, so the spell caster loses the fireball and a wizard level, so she's down to level 1 with the screaming head spell. In shooting, the Seaguard go ahead and knock off a wound onto an ogre here, and then the bolt thrower does 6 shots and goes ahead and finishes the ogre off. Here's a perfect comparison of video versus photo. I mean, it's cool to see the panning motion, but I mean, I prefer just this shot like this, so let me know what you guys prefer, because I get the whole damn thing, there's no movement or blur, but I figured I'd try it out. So anyway, Forces of Destruction turn, Storm Vermin back up, and the Warp Fire Thrower gets in position to fire next turn, or even this turn if he can, because I don't know if he moved or not, but I want to be able to get a nice shot onto those Sword Masters because I can eliminate them if I get a nice hit. Everything else shuffles up a little bit, and there was a charge made onto those zombies by the Saber Tusk. Hey, 3 attacks, charge, flank charge. I can get a lot of combat res in there, maybe try to crumble that unit down. So I get some Winds of Magic dice down. I decided to just get rid of 2 because I got at least 8. I wanted to get rid of 2, and I just decided to Warp Lightning these dogs, get them out of the way. Probably could have done it against the Seaguard or something else, but they were right there in front of me, so that's what I went with. And I killed 4 of them, which is nice, but at the price of a freaking miscast, bringing him off the table. And half of the unit, 11 guys die, and the caster, so I'm down to 19 there. It's just annoying because the last couple games I've been getting a lot of irresistible force when it counts, but now I'm just getting double 6s all the time, even on 2 dice. So I guess I'll have to deal with it. But crazy. So I get the +1 strength spell off to the bulls to the left from the butcher in the unpainted Iron Gut unit, but again at the cost of 2 6s. So I have a miscast, I got a small template, and I kill a freaking Iron Gut in the process. So over here, the Poison Wind Mortar goes ahead and shoots at the Seaguard and kills 4 guys, which is great. And then the Lead Belchers go ahead and shoot at the Crypt Horrors and end up doing a wound or 2. Over here in combat, I kill what looks like a guy or 2, and the combat res crumbles another one, so not as good as I was hoping. I guess the Saber Tusk kind of whiffed there, because on the charge and a flank charge and possible 3 kills, it could have gotten 5 combat res versus none, but, you know, whatever. So, Forces of Confusion turn 2. The Swordmaster is going to make this crazy charge all the way out to the Storm Vermin. I think they needed 10 or 11, so I'm hoping they missed that. The dogs are going to go into the Clan Rats, in which case the White Lions issue a charge into the flank of the Bulls, which is pretty clever on Kim's behalf. So we'll get a flank charge there with those great weapons, so that should be pretty nasty. And then we have a charge from the Cryptars onto the Iron Guts. So everyone makes their charge, but the scary part is the Swordmasters getting in is just it's just going to be devastating. I don't know how I'm going to do about that because I didn't get a freaking counter shot or turner shooting with the Warp Fire Thrower and another turn to back up, so it's going to be scary as hell. Another thing that will be pretty nasty is the 10 White Lions into the Ogres. So the Silver Helms are making their way around the back, and this shot kind of shows you what's going on. The zombies have moved up, the skeletons in the Graveguard moving up, the casters in the Graveguard unit. The Black Knights have moved over here on the left, and then it looks like he necked this unit up to strength like 22. So yeah, so there's more zombies there, keeping that Saber Tusk busy. At the expense of double 6s, which kills all of the graveyard except 1, so the caster's kind of running around there by himself. Having a lot of units in combat, limited options for shooting, so the bolt thrower goes ahead and shoots up some slaves. Not much to say over here, so yep, that happens. And I think I did this right, because what happens is the unit gets destroyed on the spot if it's successfully chased down, which causes panic, so the Warp Fire Thrower runs, and as does the Swordmasters with the Noble and the Caster. So this is the part of the show that's called What the Hell Happened Here. So I'll give you an opportunity, if you want to pause the video, to come up with some sort of story or actual rule explanations as to what happened here in this combat. You can post it below if you'd like, and then your reaction after you hear what finds out. But feel free to pause right here. If not, and you're ready to move on, this is what happened. The White Lions failed their fear test, which sucks, so their weapon skill dropped to 1, which allowed ogres to hit on 3s and they'll have that +1 strength spell up, wounding on 2s. So he only does 3 wounds to the ogres, which is crazy, and I end up doing 6. So that super valuable flank charge ends up being a waste. Um, so they end up running. I actually hold put. I decided to not chase them down. I figured I could probably kill these dogs, chase the white lions next turn, and then the bulls can go into the sea guard. The dogs die as expected, and I combat reform to face the white lions. So here's the part of the show where I share with you what I learned. I know this is a newbie game for two people who haven't really played too much, and I learned something new every once in a while. So in this combat versus the Crypt Horrors, they've got poison, and someone brought to my attention that the Slaughtermaster and Butcher guys have immune to poison, which I remember reading way back when the book came out, but never really came into play or I ever brought it up. But yeah, that's the case. I looked through the book and I'm like, oh wow, they are immune to poison. So he had to roll to wound me normally. But hey, if you didn't know that, butchers and slaughtermasters are immune to poison. I feel like some of you guys are gonna hate me for not knowing that, but hey, I didn't. Sorry. So anyway, one crypt horror is left there. That's it. Over here, it's still a grind with the Saber Tusk and the zombies. And on to Destruction turn 2. I go ahead and take the Clam Rats and chase away the White Lions. I didn't catch them, but they're running. These guys are going to have to reform and try to get back into the game. I'm going to avoid them at all costs. So I send some units into combat, the bulls into the Sea Guard. They shoot down an ogre, which is fine, and I send some slaves into the Black Knights. As long as they're not getting the charge and I can have them sit there and grind for a bit, I'll be happy on that. So I got Spine Marrow and Bullgorger left, so I decided to throw a few dice at Spine Marrow onto the bulls to the left just to kind of get rid of them, thinking I was done with double sixes, but nope, double sixes, another miscast, some shit happens, that sucks. But I do go ahead and get Bullgorger off onto the bulls again to the left, so they're going to be killing them on 2. And I believe that'll increase the impact hits. But I'm not sure, because technically impacting would happen in movements, and then the strength would go up in magic, but I'm not sure what the ruling is, but I did +1 strength, so hopefully, yeah. So I do lose 3 bulls here, which is fine. I mean, they're always strike first, and reroll missed hits, and they're all attacking and stuff, but I'm here, and I'm doing some damage. Backing up to shooting, I did shoot at the unit that had the 1 hero in there and the 1 Graveguard. Fortunately, I wasn't able to kill a hero, but the Graveguard did die, and the hero was able to survive, so he'll probably run into another unit, unfortunately. I killed the Sea Guard by chasing them down after combat, and I run into the building, so now I'm going to probably get charged by the Crypt Ghouls to the right. So Confusion turn 3. The Swordmasters are trying to get back into the game. The White Lions rally. The Ghouls go into the Bulls. Silver Helms are coming up from behind. Into Magic, the Winds of Death, I believe. Vortex spell gets casted and pops out the Iron Guts and goes ahead and kills a guy, which is annoying. But we go into combat pretty quickly, and the Bulls over here, 1 or 2 die, and kill most of the Ghouls. So the Vargulf will flank charge the slaves, ended up allowing enough combat res for them to just lose, because the Black Knights weren't doing too great. But the slaves pop to do some damage around the board, and this guy overruns very shitty. He could have overran into here and made my life real difficult, but he didn't. Over here, you can see we have the zombies that charge into the Iron Guts, if I failed to mention that. And the zombies reform to face the Iron Guts after the Saber Tusk gets no wounds and just loses by static combat as res, and he's got like leadership 5, so there's no staying there. I go for pure combat res here and wiping off this part of the board with the intentions of doing this, having the rat ogres go in and just grind up the zombies so that they're just gone. They're frenzied, they'll have to overrun into the next unit of zombies, destroy them, and then just clear out that side. Have the Lebelchers turn around to at least shoot at the Silver Helms if they can, otherwise they'll just get a charge from the Silver Helms, which will suck. But, you know, what are you going to do? And the Iron Guts go ahead and rear charge the Black Knights because they reform to face the Bulls. The Black Knights focus down the Butcher, which actually kills him, but I still win the combat. I reform to face the Vargulf. And over here in the combat to the right is just a total slaughter. I end up winning combat by like 20, and then that's enough to wipe out the rest of the zombies. Now I want to back up to the magic phase here. The vortex actually goes ahead and moves this way. So if they decide to do a charge onto me, they'd actually hit the vortex, which would be annoying because I think it's like D6 strength 3 hits. I don't know if there's armor saves or not. I'm not really too familiar with the desert wind spell, but that would have been a complication. So this is about halfway through the game, but unfortunately, this is the last picture I have because we had run out of time, and Kim and Kev had to leave. But we kind of played out the rest of the game with the two other people that were there playing that night. So essentially, the rat ogres would have overrun into these zombies and cleaned out that unit. The silver helms and the vargulf would have been able to take care of the lead belchers, which would have scooped up some points. But the sword masters all the way out on the other side of the table would not have been able to get back in, and it probably would have been more of a tie just based on the fact that we both had some points sitting on the table. The rat ogres could have reformed and came back and completely annihilated the silver helms if Kim had not left them out in the open. Because if she left them, I would have gotten to them. But smart player would have had them run away and never come back. So with the red ogres, the iron guts, and the bulls still alive, monstrous infantry prevailed this this game. The slaves and the storm vermin died. The clan rats were able to run down and kill the rest of the white lions, but monstrous infantry are the VIP. Now that I'm looking at it, the rat ogres probably could have made a turn to the left there and went down and got the hero and the skeleton, but unfortunately we don't have definitive results of this game, so I apologize, but you knew from the start this was a newbie game, a practice game, just to try to get some models on the field and moving and fighting across the board for Kim and Kev so they could decide if these are the armies they want to play, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.